It takes a lot of blood, sweat, and tears for an artist to actually make a living from their art with no guarantees of success or recognition. And here in Canada, it's even more difficult. Well, Context executive producer Susan Ponting now with Canadian singer-songwriter Laila Biali on how her faith shapes her incredibly successful career in jazz music.
Come on down when you hear that sound. Come on down, there's a fire underground.
And the Juno Award for Vocal Jazz Album of the Year goes to Laila Biali.
Come on down, there's a fire blowing around.
Revival at the beginning of March, just before pandemic hit. Like, there were people there who already had cases, but news hadn't yet really broken in the news. So there we were, all of us packed in the streets, dancing, and
I love though that
not
in
thinking
that
anything of it.
it's just social justice issues are really important to you because you reference Greta Thunberg cleverly.
A girl from Sweden, breaking through the apathy.
The director we worked with, she lives in Brooklyn. She found that little girl. And then when she arrived on set with her mom, who was in the video, we discovered that she had gotten into dance, this little girl, as a way to counter the effects of bullying at school. And we were like, you are perfect for this video.
Yeah. So I want to ask you, how are you coping with COVID? Really, as a mom, as a wife, as a singer, songwriter, musician?
I think in the early days, there's the initial shock and, adjusting, and you go with it because there's nothing else you can do. But there is a sense of, okay, there's gotta be a light at the end of the tunnel. It has to be closer than we think. And, and sure enough, we saw various cities across the country moving into from stage 1 lockdown to stage 2 and ultimately stage 3. We even traveled west, and I'm from Vancouver, so we took a flight out. We were extra careful. We quarantined for 2 weeks before we saw folks, but we played some safe concerts.
We go out on Monday night. It doesn't matter if the mood ain't right.
It doesn't stop you from winning awards and being on you're everywhere on social media. You've got amazing, huge fan base.
Thank you. I mean, I don't take it lightly, and every time, like, if something comes my way, whether it's the Juno or most recently the SOCAN, and it has been a complete surprise, so I don't take it for granted, and I have to remind myself that I do what I do as a musician because I feel called to be a musician in the world, not for the accolades, and certainly not for the travel or fame, because that's sort of a relative term anyway for someone who's in jazz.
Yes. Although your jazz kind of goes over. Yeah.
You got it.
Sugar, because I'm also tired. Sugar, because I'm uninspired.
So as an artist, as a singer-songwriter, is it everything to you to give your art to God?
It is important for me to always be checking in on a faith level because it is easy to get distracted by all the other things that surround a life in the entertainment industry. And it's hard. It's hard. It's a merciless business.
It is.
And especially for a woman, I think, like a woman who's getting on in years, and so I think that inner driving force, which comes from without and comes from within,
right,
and has been there now for decades, as my faith has grown over the years. That's what I have to return to time and time again for refreshment. And to persevere. Otherwise, I would have given up many times over. Many times over.
Mm-hmm.
When the winter boldly spring, take the day off.
Would you recommend this business to your son?
I think my short answer would be no, but he's 10 now, and we've found ways to integrate him into our sets. And we actually wrote a song for my latest record called Take the Day Off, which was this little idea that he came up with one day, because there's music, instruments everywhere. And so he just picked it up and started playing, and I recorded it and then built a song out of it. But when left to his own devices, he really seems to want to be in the fold.
Well, it's in his DNA.
It's in his DNA, like it or not. Ben and I met in a band,
That's right.
He was the drummer, everybody falls for the drummer.